is French, Chang, retired Bishop of the Anglican Church in Seychelles. I was born and raised here, studied abroad, and now I'm looking after the small parish of St. John's at Glassy, also involved in quite a bit of social work. To me, the ocean says so much about God's love for mankind, His generosity, and it's a source of life, and the ocean still needs to be explored for its richness. But the sad thing is that we're polluting the ocean, and by polluting the ocean, it's I may be using a very strong term, it's like committing suicide slowly. I think the answer is obvious, because in having a healthy ocean, we get fish from the ocean, and so that's one very important source of life. And therefore, by keeping the ocean healthy, in a way, indirectly, we are looking after ourselves, we are feeding ourselves. But also, what's important that the ocean it's not only the Indian Ocean, the ocean covers the face of the whole globe. So by polluting one part of the ocean, we're polluting the whole world, which means that we all have responsibility to keep our part of the ocean, our seas, as clean and as healthy as possible. I think the fact that government took this very, very important decision to ban plastic bags and a number of other materials made of plastic indicates that there was this red signal that plastic was polluting the environment too much, the ocean, and therefore this decision was a very, very good one, and we trust that we'll go as far as possible, because besides plastic bags, we've also got so many other things made of plastic. But the important thing is that as a nation, we need to know what to do with our plastic waste, because by throwing plastic just anywhere around the environment or in streams, eventually they all end up in the ocean, and this is where the danger comes. And I think, for example, the cleanup at Alabra and the outer islands, it showed how far plastic has traveled, and also the volume of plastic that is out there. I don't think we really know the length to which plastic has done damage to the ocean, and how many sea animals, for example, have died as a result of swallowing plastic or getting suffocated by plastic. So I think more research needs to be done in order to sensitize people even more. Well, plastic is one source, and also it's everything that gets thrown into the sea. What we do know, for example, is what we as the inhabitants of these islands, from our households, what we allow to go into the ocean, but what we do not know. And does anybody know the ocean-going ships, for example, tankers? Do we know really who are the real people who are polluting the oceans, our ocean, in a worse way than we realize? I think we just need to be conscious of what we're doing through our actions. And one very serious thing is that Seychelles has passed a lot of laws, but we don't implement them. Just an example, I mean, in Singapore, people are fined for throwing waste in out of car windows, or anybody caught polluting the environment, action is taken. But here we just talk about it. And but it's got to come from us. And what I'm pleased with is that our children at school, they're becoming more and more conscious of what is happening in terms of having to keep the environment clean. So got to enforce the laws, but also I think show people more and more, like which are the dangers of smoking, what does your lungs. I think, for example, on television, in other ways, social media, I think show people the danger of what we are doing to environment and how it hits back on ourselves. I think the state is doing what it can, but it's got to enforce the laws. But then if the message doesn't get through, how do we get the general public, everybody involved, to be conscious of what we're doing and the consequences? I think more thought needs to be given to this, but it's got to start, at home, in the schools. So finally, it's everybody really who's got to be conscious of our action. And as I say, we are in danger of committing suicide slowly. And this is happening the world over by polluting the ocean, polluting the air, polluting also the food that we eat. Because finally we ingest all these things. And if there's an increase in diseases and so on, to quite an extent, it's a result of what we're doing to ourselves without perhaps realizing the truth about this in the first place. In summing up, I'd simply like to say that from the spiritual, biblical point of view, it's all very clear. What I mean by clear is that after creating the universe, the good Lord placed people in a garden. He didn't just place him there. He said, take care of this garden, take care of nature. So that's how man did. And as time went on, Jesus, who was God's Son, he ended his life in a garden. But also he came back to life in a garden. The garden of resurrection, that tomb, which was in a garden, from which he rose. And also, as we are hoping to go to heaven, to paradise one day, the meaning of paradise, it's from a Persian word, which means a walled garden. So for me, it's all there. And this interconnectedness, this connectedness with our Creator, for me, this is the way forward. And we can transform Seychelles, we can transform this world, but we can only do it together with the rest of the world. And I'm so glad it's young people who are taking up this challenge. So I wish you all good luck as we all try to play our own part. Thank you.